Hello and welcome to Video Games to the Max, episode 199. And man, we got some huge games to talk about. Of course, Resident Evil 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. But there's a lot of news as well to discuss here. But before we get to all that, we got to do the introductions here. Of course, I'm your host, Sean Garmer, here with me, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
And of course, we are the official video games podcast at W2Net.com in association with Forum Mania and Last Word on Life. And hey, you might be watching us here on video on YouTube or wherever else it is that you check us out on one of the sites. So I want to say hello and thank you for watching there. If you're listening on the audio podcast, appreciate that as well. So pretty much we talk these two big games that have come out recently. We both had them. You actually beat Resident Evil 2. I beat Kingdom Hearts 3. So I'm kind of moseying along on Resident Evil 2. You're moseying along Kingdom Hearts 3. Let's start with the older game first, I guess. I've been playing a few more other things that we'll get to at the end after we get through some news.
Likewise.
And what do you think? I mean, obviously this game's been getting a lot of praise. Do you feel like the same way? Huge hit for Capcom?
It's really good. Like, it's probably one of Capcom's best. It really evokes the old game, but they modernized the combat. The map is great. The inventory is fine because you can upgrade it. It's like one of their best games. They do some stuff later on I don't particularly like, but yeah, it's a damn good game.
So what do you not like about it?
There's a sequence where you take control of Sherry. I don't think you're playing Leon, right, as your first character?
Leon, yeah.
Yeah, so each character has another character you play as. Leon has Ada, and Claire has Sherry. And Ada's campaign is weird because it's like a weird, hacking mini game. You have to see through the walls with your special gun and hack wires and crap. I mean, takes 20 minutes. It's not bad or anything. It's just weird. But Sherry's campaign, it takes 20 minutes too. But it's a whole stealth sequence where if you get spotted once, it's instant fail. And that sucks.
Yeah. That's never a great thing in games. Feels like something they could have taken out for sure.
Well, it wasn't in the original game, so they put it in here, which is bizarre. It's a new sequence also. It takes place in an orphanage, which was not in the original game whatsoever. So that's kind of cool, but it's just I don't like how you get spotted once and game over. I died 6 times during that thing.
Damn. I'll have to see how that is whenever I get to Claire. Do you like any the changes for the most part? Is there anything from the original game that you miss that is not in there, or?
Not really. Well, actually, no. Everything is mostly in there. They do alter some stuff in the intro. That whole gas station scene is not in the original game.
Okay, I was wondering if that was the case.
Yeah.
So does it go from the streets to the police station immediately, or?
Yeah, this original game started off basically on a street, and you had to run to the cop station, but you ran through the gun shop, and that wasn't in there in Leon's story. It isn't there with Claire's, or Leon's story has it, but it's later, and Claire's I don't think actually has it, period, or it has different a different pathway. But yeah, I played the original game a lot when I had it as a kid, and I even read the damn book, the novelization of it.
Yeah.
So like I pick up on differences in the original game. Like the Mr. X guy, he was kind of in the original game, but not real, like not as important as he is in this one.
Yeah, so he doesn't necessarily follow you around, right? From in the original, he kind of there's you can go a certain part where he stops following you, right? And whereas in this game,
Yeah.
he follows you the whole time.
Well, he does stop at certain points, and there are like certain levels where he's just not in it at all. But he's basically like the Nemesis from RE3 Nemesis, or like the Crimson Head zombies from the RE1 remake, because he can like walk through doors and like follow you through like a different area.
Do you like that? They kind of the zombies getting up again thing is new as well, right? From
I mean, yeah, you can put him down if you pump him with enough lead. It's fine. Like certain zombie, like you can tell when a zombie's officially down versus like, oh, they're just temporarily down. It'll get back up in 5 minutes or something.
the only time I could tell is if like their head got blown off completely. It's the only time.
Yeah.
Because there was other times where I was like, man, I just shot you like 6 times in the head. You went down, and then he gets up a minute later. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
Um,
And there's like one really funny incongruity with the game, because the game is supposed to take place in 1998,
right.
and one of the things you have to find is a STARS police badge, and it's a USB key, and I'm like, they didn't have USB keys in 1998.
Nope. Did not.
And it's like very hidden too. Like it's in like the back of the badge. There's the little lever to, push on the USB key part. And I'm like, no, that came a decade later.
I think one of my favorite things too is they're both at the fence, like Claire and Leon, and they're just having like a casual conversation while there's zombies going around.
Yeah,
like,
she never thinks to like climb the fence or anything like that. Like heaven forbid. Or like, right next to that fence are like trash bins. Like he could get on top of one of those and like try to pull her above.
Yeah.
But it still has like the zapping system from the old one. Like, things you do in the first one kind of alter the second one.
Right. But it's not as much altering, right, as the original game?
Because like Claire has different weapons almost completely. So, like, I took bullets with Leon that, her gun couldn't even use most of the time. I had the guns, but they were the pre-order bonuses, not like the regular stuff you get with her.
Yeah, that special pistol.
Yeah.
Or whatever that it gives you, which kind of just feels like it feels like it's just like a little classier pistol, because it doesn't necessarily kill them much easier or anything.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for me to experience this like Claire story. For the record, this is my first Resident Evil game. So I'm enjoying it. I know not all of them are, after 4 it kind of goes into the action territory. So,
I've heard I haven't played it, but I heard RE7 is good, like a good horror game.
yeah, it's first person too. So I still need to play that in VR. Yeah,
I was gonna mention. Oh, go on.
No.
I was gonna mention. Like, it's not a long game.
Yeah.
Like I finished Leon in like 10 hours. And I finished Claire in like 3.
Right, because once you go through it, it's easier to do the second time.
Yeah,
right?
you know where shit is. So that's helpful.
Do you like that? Is that something you miss from the old game? Like where your B run doesn't necessarily mean as much now, where you can't like leave weapons for them to use and all that?
Because that made it kind of more overtly complicated. Like if anything, the way this game is easy is because the map, because it tells you instantly what's in a room, or like, oh, you need the spade key to go through this door. So it's like, okay, I have that. So let's do it right now.
Yeah, because usually you'd
That's,
have to draw, right? You
no,
didn't
you had a
have
map in the
the
old one, but it didn't tell you shit. It
right.
just told you like where you are.
I'm not always the biggest survival horror person, so like it's interesting for me, and thing that I'm trying to do this year is play different games that I'm not used to, and like even though I'm sort of creeping along because I had to figure out that you don't have enough ammo to be killing all the zombies, so I had to run around, and I liked actually being able to go into the map and be like, okay, I only have to go a certain amount to go into this other room that I need to go into. There might be something I need, and it's just kind of a different experience that I realize I like doing. So, um,
Yeah,
it's definitely great that Capcom was able to get a hit with this. They got 3 million units shipped already on it, and that was in the first week. So I'm sure
like the
that they
whole.
will.
Well,
Go
it's
ahead.
interesting. One way they make it easier is that ammo mixing system. Like if you combine two gunpowders, you
Right.
get like bullets, which is nice.
And then you can do more and you get different kind of bullets,
Yeah, like if you
right?
combine like a regular gunpowder with like a large one, I think you get like shotgun shells, or if you combine two large ones, you get like magnum rounds.
Yes. I mean, do you enjoy Claire's or Leon's story more?
I probably enjoy Leon's. I would say. Uh, I just like his, well, I guess, motivation a little better, like his kind of character arc. But both are good.
Yeah, so definitely, if for some reason you haven't checked out Resident Evil 2, or maybe you're on the fence or something, it's well worth checking out. If you're one of the survival horror fan, and maybe you go, well, I don't know where to start Resident Evil, I think Resident Evil 2 Remake is well worth something to start on. And then if you like those, you can go to 7 uh, or
I
even
mean,
the
I'd say if you
1
like,
remake.
yeah, I'd say if you like two, go back to the already one remake and see what you think of that, because that's
Uh,
the most direct comparison.
Also, those kind of go on sale a lot. I got those for I think like $8 each, zero
Yeah,
and one. So
the
uh,
RE7 bundle went on sale for 25, and I would have picked it up if I had the cash, especially with
uh,
that VR thing.
so I mean, definitely. The thing is, it doesn't stop Resident Evil now. Capcom knows they sort of have a cash cow, so they
I mean, to an
interestingly,
extent, but I mean, the next logical one is RE3, but that'll take years because it's a big city, or it's a medium-sized city. So you have to design around that, and how it.
wasn't it like originally made as sort of like a they were Resident Evil 2 kind of took a long time in development. They started making Resident Evil 3, and then they sort of were sort of like partner games in a way,
Originally or now?
like originally.
Maybe. But there
Like
are reused, like there are some reused environments in RE3.
I think it's interesting how Capcom like laid this out, basically making it seem like, yeah, fans, we need you to demand RE3 just like you demanded RE2 for all those years. Basically, it's already in development, people. They just want to hear you scream from the rooftops that you want it, just to justify what they're already doing.
Yeah.
I think they kind of wanted to know if the game was going to make money first, and then they go, oh,
I
well, we
mean,
can just make
considering
3.
Capcom's history for the past few years, that does not surprise me.
Yeah, they've been coasting on. I mean, obviously, Monster Hunter World helped them a lot, be able to give them the freedom to do that as
Oh
well.
yeah.
But they've been doing those collections, Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, the Disney
I,
afternoon thing.
I mean, it's not like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite made him a boatload of money or anything.
Yeah, Marvel also kind of messed that up by in making it have the MCU stuff, which I'm sure was a Disney thing as well. But we'll see how that goes with the once Marvel gets the X-Men stuff back and everything. But yeah, let's another thing that's going on with Resident Evil though, which I don't know that I'm a big fan of considering who's involved with it. Um, Resident Evil TV series being developed at Netflix, reportedly.
Can they get Mila Jovovich back as Alice?
Oh, please, God. Your sarcasm is showing there. I like Paul W.S. Anderson and Mila Jovovich need to be far away from this thing. But the problem is that I don't necessarily like that the same production company that was involved with the movies is also involved with this, because they're already saying in the press materials that's being said by the Deadline reporter that they're going to use that same starting point to kind of start the series too. It's like, okay, great. I think we all want to kind of know the inner workings of Umbrella and all that stuff, but I don't know. It's a TV series. They could legitimately like kind of go through the games or expand some more of the lore, and I don't know that they're going to necessarily do that. I'm scared that they're just going to do the movie in bite-sized chunks.
I mean, I'd be further scared they're going to basically do The Walking Dead, but in RE form, which would be not good either.
I mean, or that they're going to, like, use all the monsters within the first season.
Yeah.
You know, which... I mean, the liquor's cool and you know, I mean, all that, but...
The way you do a RE series, honestly, is have every game be a season.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe not... Once you get to 5 and 6, maybe not. But at least, you know, 0 through 4.
I mean, that's assuming it lasts 5 or 6 years.
It's Netflix. They have a tendency to just greenlight stuff. So
I mean, they just canceled one of my favorite shows, so no, they don't.
Well, I mean, they've been better about like canceling stuff recently, but when it's something like that big, like Resident Evil, and we've seen them, you know, they finally started to announce numbers, and then people call them out on it, and they go, "Oh, that just means that people actually, 40 million people, like, at least watch a certain percentage of the show." It's not people that actually went through and watched the whole thing, but. I you know, who knows? I mean, yeah, I think the Disney had more to do with them canceling all the.
I don't mean that. But... No, they didn't actually, because at least for Daredevil, Disney was all on board for season 4, and Netflix canceled it. Like Disney was shocked they canceled it.
Right, but Netflix is the one in charge of most of that budget for those, right?
I think it's like half and half, but Disney was willing to pay.
Yeah.
Also, the show they canceled that I don't like is Travelers. I love that show, and yep, it's gone.
I mean, I think it's hard with as many shows as they put out now. It's at some point your favorite's gonna get canceled.
I mean, well, discoverability is a problem. Like I thought it was crazy when they were they almost didn't renew Glow past season 1. It's like, you guys are nuts.
Yeah, now it didn't take them that long to renew it for season 3, so I'm glad they figured out the error of their ways with that pretty quick.
Go on.
I don't know, like, the Witcher thing's out there, but you have those CD Projekt Red people, I assume, sort of on the phone sometimes to kind of be you can do this, you can't do this. Whereas with Capcom, I mean, with how free they were with the movies, I worry that they'll not really put their hand in and go, don't do this with the Netflix series.
Well, they should get Shinji Mikami back in the role. No, I don't think Capcom had nothing to do with the Resident Evil movies. Like, they signed the rights away, essentially.
Right.
I mean, look at the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Well, Nintendo certainly has they are playing a very close role with Illumination on that.
But also, think about when the Resident Evil movie came out originally. That was
like 2000.
Or 2000. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was way early. So Capcom probably didn't give a shit when it came out. They were like, cool.
Oh, you want to do movies on Resident Evil? Great. Yeah.
But also, no, except for Mortal Kombat, there's no good movies based on games.
Do Do you think that they need to have like an original character, or they need to just have the characters that we know from the
No,
games?
yeah, the characters from the games. Those are the people care about. No one gives a shit about Alice. So the reason or the why they formed the entire movie franchise around her is insane.
Well, we know why.
Yeah.
The behind the scenes of why, but like, yeah, I mean, what they throw in Jill in the second one, and she's sort of a bit player to Alice, and then what Wesker I think was the big bad at certain points.
Well, I think Claire was in maybe 3 and came back in 5 or 6.
Oh, Claire was the Ali Lauder character, right?
Yeah, and they had Chris Redfield, who was Wentworth Miller in 4, I think, and then he got killed off or whatever off screen, and then every other character has been some, no-name character or some nothing character that no one gives a shit about because they're not from the game.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting how Netflix handles this, and how much that. Like, it's okay to have that as a starting point, I guess. Like, you don't have to necessarily forget that the movies existed, but just expand the lore and don't go too crazy with having monsters every other freaking episode and not turning it into The Walking Dead, because you can do much better than that. And the games were never about it being The Walking Dead, Resident Evil. So
yeah, but they'll screw it up somehow.
Won't be too surprised if that's the case. So moving on to another franchise that could easily be some kind of movie, well, it has had a movie technically.
Ace Combat 7. Let's talk about it.
That storyline's crazy enough already. But Kingdom Hearts 3, the game that is number 1 on I don't know how many different Japan and Europe for sure, America. I'm sure maybe because of that there's nothing else that came out. January 29th, really, that was...
It sold 5 million copies.
Yeah, so it's... I think in Japan it doubled the number of Resident Evil 2 in the first week, so...
That's not surprising.
Yeah, it's a game people have been waiting 13 years for. I've never seen my GameStop as packed as it was for a release of a game like Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's just because you're not there for Madden.
Well, I mean, I think Madden, even then, like, I've never seen the parking lot completely full to where I couldn't park in the parking lot, so I had to go to the parking lot at the Golden Corral next to the GameStop. Yeah. There was people with, kids named Kyrie there. Like, it was kind of it's crazy scene.
It should have been someone from DHS or whatever, social services.
Yeah. I was waiting for the kid named Sora as well. It didn't happen. But still...
no, they're all named like Roxas and Axel.
Would not be surprised if there was a Roxas kid somewhere at some GameStop. Kyrie's not a bad girl's name, to be honest. But either way, I beat the game completely. Where are you at?
I'm in Toy Story World. I faced the doll boss that was like spinning around.
Okay. So, what do you think about the game just as far as you've been?
I've talked to you about it some. Combat is fine. It's really fast. It's really easy. At least I found it because of all the like shape changing or like special things you can do.
Right. The attractions and
yeah, this makes it like brain dead easy most of the time. Like bosses can be a challenge, but not really. Or that like stupid Twister boss in Olympus was a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, I almost died at some points during that thing because when he starts throwing the rocks at you, whatever, when you're in the air.
Yeah, I just couldn't get close to him, and when I would try to get close to him, he would like fly away. So it was like 15 minutes of chasing this like swirling bastard around.
Yeah, the others were fairly easy.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I have no idea what's happening in the story. Less than no idea. Like, they're... Yeah. I know who some of the characters are, but no. And
what was the last Kingdom Hearts game you played, though?
2.
Oh, okay. Well, you missed
You
a
know,
whole bunch of stuff
the,
there.
why bother having numbers if they're not going to, in the grand scheme of the story?
I mean, to be fair, Nomura is crazy, and he says that none of those games are side games. They all matter to the story equally. So,
I'm
uh,
reminded of what you said about Final Fantasy 15. Like, oh, you need to watch the anime that came with it, or like that director DVD thing to get like the full breadth of the story. And it's like that's no, they should have put that in the goddamn game.
yeah, I mean, especially later on, you're gonna have to have watched at least the movie that comes with 2.8, and I also have
I'm good.
watched played the little
I
3 hour thing with Aqua, and
I
uh,
am a-okay with not giving a shit about the story.
but well, for someone like me and many others that did invest a lot in the story, I think it, for the most part, wraps up pretty well. I mean, it's also Nomura, so you can assume that things are going to happen to lead into future games or whatever. You know, the combat for me is the most fun I've had playing a Kingdom Hearts game. Uh, it is fast, it is crazy, but with all the stuff you do get to do, I
Well,
really enjoy it. I never got bored.
they start you off fairly powerful, and they just keep adding on top of that.
Hmm.
So that's pretty helpful.
The Keyblade transformations are awesome, though. I think it's with something I wish they had. Like it's like something I always wish they had, and it makes your Keyblade's important. It's not like, oh, the other games were just, oh, okay, I'll just go to the next Keyblade, next Keyblade, next Keyblade. Now it's like, oh, I can level up my Keyblade. I can have favorite Keyblades. That I can have favorite like transformations they do. It's like it makes them all kind of feel important in their own way. Like once I got to the Pirates of the Caribbean, and that Keyblade I use it the rest of the time, which is late in the game. But it's also because it's a complete Final Fantasy weapon when it's a transformation. But it's just that's one thing I do miss is the Final Fantasy characters are completely stripped from this game,
Yeah, that's really weird.
which to be fair, I think from Nomura's perspective, number one, it's been 13 years since 2. That was and they still have Final Fantasy games in the side games, even to the point where the main character from World Ends with You shows up in Dream Drop Distance. So like he expanded it past Final Fantasy, which was what's weird. Is like your final game in this saga, and you don't include Final Fantasy characters at all, except for at the beginning where they mention Cloud and Auron. Like
Yeah, for like a second.
yeah, like you don't even get to mention Squall or who played a huge part in the first 2 games. It's like it's weird. It's just weird. I get it that they don't go to Radiant Garden at all, which is where the Final Fantasy characters are supposedly from. But still, it's weird. I get it that Nomura kind of says that in their own right, all of these Kingdom Hearts characters are now Final Fantasy characters, but
It's a load.
there's still a little bit of an attachment to those characters that people have,
I mean, by that metric, why have Disney characters in that? Why does have
Well,
all
they
you
have
know?
to, because it says
Yeah,
Disney and Square.
I mean, I kind of feel that way about like Squall and Cloud.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
how cool was that Sephiroth fight in Kingdom Hearts 2?
it was really cool. It was cool in Kingdom Hearts
Yeah,
1. The like my favorite moment from the games, I think, still is the big battle in Radiant Garden 2 where Squall and Cloud are back to back and they go, "Are you ready?" And you're like, "Dude, this is like a team I've always wanted to see. How awesome!" And it's like
Instead, we get a Dissidia
NT.
poster, yeah, in the toy box, and it's like, yeah,
What did you
that's a
think
good
about
one.
the game? That game that's in the toy box thing.
Which
That's like
one?
very Final Fantasy ish. That Rex is playing. You haven't seen that part yet?
No,
You're probably really
I'm think
close to it then.
I'm
It's
thinking
called
of.
like Verdum Rex or whatever, and they make
Oh,
it.
oh yeah, that thing. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
that's right. That's like in the intro. That was funny. That was
yeah.
like Kingdom Hearts, or that was like Final Fantasy 15 or something.
Yeah, basically it was like Nomura taking his shot at Final Fantasy 15,
I
which
mean,
is, you know.
I think that's the reason Final Fantasy is not in the game because Nomura didn't do Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah. And Noct is apparently going to show up in Final Fantasy 14. So,
So it's Nier Automata.
yeah, which is weird. But Square
Uh,
does that
the
too.
only other thing, the two things I'll say is the gummy ship stuff feels weird.
Still sucks.
It's not bad. It's just weird.
I like that they made it more open, but I still don't want to mess with it.
Yeah, and there's no real reason to care. Like, it's like, oh, you got a new Cura block. It's like, who gives a shit?
I just kept
Like,
buying the next level of the Highwind or whatever and just use that.
Yeah.
Because, like, trying to remember that the gummy ship has to have certain things or it can't fly.
Yeah,
It's
like a
cool for
navigation
people that like to
block.
do that stuff, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's not why I play Kingdom Hearts. I want to get to the worlds or whatever. And
I mean, what they should have done is basically have like Steam Workshop support for that, or like call it Square Workshop.
Yeah.
You could just download other people's ships into the game.
Yeah, that would be cool too. Yeah, they took the time to make it more open and include little things like the treasure spheres and make the battle separate, which I appreciated, except for when you got to a certain boss.
Yeah,
but
it all just feels not hollow, but just unimportant.
Well, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it is unimportant because they make it to where you warp after you get to that level once. So it shows how much. I mean, at least they took the time to not make it on rails like Kingdom Hearts 2, where it was like, oh my god, this feels like you could have just completely skipped this and not had it at all. But I think overall, I loved most of the worlds. Pirates is way better than 2. And somehow
I heard it's like a mini Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, the naval battle stuff is really cool. I don't know how many times I had to redo the stupid. Well, for one, the only reason it took me that long is I forgot you have a defense barrier that you can put up, and then I was able to do the two big missions you have to do on the ship. One of them's like a race or whatever, and then the Toy Story one I loved. I think Monsters the most because it seems like it could have been a sequel. That we haven't had to Monsters. Monsters University being what it was more like a prequel. And also that the fact that in that sequence, the monsters actually get involved more with the Organization 13 people than the other ones. Frozen and Tangled are just way too much like the movie. And also
popular, so that's why
the places where the worlds themselves are like way too big. They're so big that you get lost, like because they look so samey. And there's a part in the Tangle one where it gets like really dark, and they do it on purpose, and it's like I cannot figure out where I'm going. I had to just look at the map the whole time to like figure it out and just go. I mean, look, I appreciate that Frozen has the whole Let It Go in there for people that love Frozen, and I'm a person that likes Frozen. But it's kind of like, oh God, I could have just watched the movie. It's like,
I mean, I know what worlds are in the game.
Yeah.
I still think what they've picked is disappointing.
I think definitely. I feel like because it's been so long, they had to go with more modern. Because at this point, when you have to remember that all the games count. So all the old Birth by Sleep basically took all the rest of the old classic Disney worlds. Like they took all the princess.
Who cares?
They took all the princess worlds that hadn't been in any of the other games. So what's left is like your C and D tier, like Sword in the Stone, Black Cauldron. I mean, for some reason they haven't been able to do Jungle Book. There was a problem with I think the rights with the writer and all that. It's the reason why they couldn't do Tarzan again. Like
well, those those rights are, I mean, it's royalty free at this point.
Yeah.
And they just made a fucking Jungle Book movie 2 years ago.
I don't know what that is. They might try to be. Maybe they said, like, let's see if this sells, and then we can go back to doing more classic worlds for the next one, or whatever. I don't know, but.
I mean, the one world I wanted would have been Wall-E. They own that.
Right.
Fuck
Pixar.
Tangled. Like, that'd have been a great world to explore.
It felt like, I mean, I would have loved the Wreck-It Ralph world.
Yeah. Imagine, like, Sugar Rush, Sora.
Yeah. That would have been great.
Like, the world just seemed very safe and uninspired, because you can't say, oh, they took out Disney or Birth by Sleep took out the princess world, and then also say Pirates is great because they did that in Kingdom Hearts 2.
No, but they totally make it more open.
No,
and
that's fine, but you're still going back to that same world. Like, I mean, it's great they made it an actual fun level, because 1 and 2 sucked. But still, you're going back to that area again.
Right.
Like,
and to be fair, they only added 2 that they're going back to. So I know technically Olympus is not Kingdom Hearts 3. So it's hilarious.
Yeah, but they actually, like, it's not just one room anymore, which is nice.
Right. I did like that you could actually, like, go to the realm of the gods and all that stuff too. That was kind of cool. I will say I loved the Big Hero 6, what they did with that. It felt like it could be its own, like, modern game, which I appreciated. I also, like, what I like the most is I wish they would next time, if Disney could remove the clutches, which I can understand that some of these properties, like, they're getting sequels right now, like Frozen, and they don't want to reveal too much of what could possibly be in that movie or whatever. But it's like, when you let Nomura play around with what the movie can be, it's a much better world than just redoing the movie.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the first game's problems, is they just kind of redid the movies.
Yeah, and then 2 did the same thing. Just, it made you go to the worlds twice, and but yeah, I think.
I mean, go on.
Like, overall, it's not a perfect game. There's problems with it. Like, it's easy even on proud mode.
The thing, my biggest problem actually is the voice acting.
Yeah.
By and far. Like, the story
Mickey is awful.
Well, the story is incomprehensible, and that's fine. But the 3 biggest offenders are Mickey, and that same guy. Like, I sent you a clip of him doing, like, Epic Mickey 2. It's the same guy for 10 years.
Right.
He sounded like Mickey in that game, so why doesn't he sound like Mickey in this one?
That I don't know.
Like, he has, like, a really deep voice, and he doesn't, like, chuckle at all, like Mickey kind of always does.
Right.
So it sounds bad. I think Sora is bad.
I don't mind Sora.
I mean, Sora's supposed to be 16, 15.
But that's Haley Joel Osment can only make his voice.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. Is, it took him so damn long that, I mean, Haley Joel really aged out of that role.
Yeah. I mean, he's 30 now, so.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a 30-year-old pothead, or And there was one other character that was really bad. I can't remember who it was. I don't think Buzz and Woody sound great.
Oh, they don't, but they're lookalike. They're sound alikes. I mean, it's Tom Hanks' brother doing Woody.
Yeah.
So, I think for the most part, most of the sound alikes are okay. Mickey's the worst offender. I thought Goofy and Donald are great again.
Oh, the other one was Scrooge. That was it.
Yeah, Scrooge is a little bit weird.
And they had a good Scrooge doing the one for the TV show, David Tennant.
Well, how much would they had to have paid David Tennant as well? That's the thing.
I mean, how much is he getting for this show? It can't be that much. Just pay him for an episode.
Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe the things didn't line up. The schedules or whatnot. I mean,
well, now that we have patches, they can patch that shit in.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like a lot of the Disney cast that they did get, I mean, that's still surprising to me that they'll have Kristen Bell be able to come back every time to be Anna, and
Oh, I mean, they probably pay her, a dump truck of
yeah,
cash.
and I forget how to say her name, the lady that does Elsa, for her to
Yeah,
Endinia Enzel or something like that.
yeah.
James Woods is still doing freaking Hades. I mean,
He
so
was not great. I mean, I knew it was James Woods, but I mean, he's just old and crazy now. Like, I assume they recorded that 7 years ago.
like that's the thing too. That's the thing too. You can immediately tell which worlds have the dialogue where they were recorded way too separate from each other, whether it's really stilted. And then you can tell when there's a bit more cohesion or whatever, and they speak a bit more crisper, and the lines seem to come right after the other.
Yeah.
It's like some of those are like cringy, like especially like the Organization 13 ones. It's like, oh my god, you guys sound like you were just in a space by yourself.
Well, they were recorded, on separate cities years apart, like most likely.
Mm-hmm.
So, it would have been cool. Oh, go on.
I still think David Gallagher does. David Gallagher and Billy Zane still nail their stuff really well.
What was the other one?
Billy Zane does Xehanort and all the anthems and whatever.
I don't. Is he still in it?
Yeah, he does all the bad guys.
Okay.
Not all of the bad guys. Like I think Haley Joel Osment does Vanitas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we could probably do the whole podcast on Kingdom Hearts 3, but listen, if you've been a big fan of the game, you probably already bought it, so it's whatever. And there's a lot of people that are very disappointed, and I can understand.
No. Billy Zane isn't in the game.
Oh, he's not?
Who's the character? Xehanort?
Yeah.
It's Rutger Hauer.
Maybe they changed it.
Because wasn't Xehanort Spock or Leonard Nimoy?
Ansem, was he? At the first one he was, I think. Not in the second one?
Ansem in this game is Corey Burton.
Well, remember there's various Ansems, so...
Yeah, well, he's the main one.
Oh, okay. Because the Ansem, the Y sounds different from the other Ansem.
Billy Zane is only the first one.
Oh, okay. He was great, though.
Yeah, well, I like David Boreanaz as Squall in the first one. Like, he was a good too.
I agree on that one, too.
I thought it was funny how they replaced the original actress from Hercules from the movie in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and then they got him back for this one.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, too.
And he sounds different. Like, I'm not going to... He didn't sound bad, but I'm like, this is not the guy... This is not Sean Astin from the last one.
Right. To be fair, Sean Astin grew in expense during that time, so...
no? I mean, he was... Think about when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, that was Lord of the Rings time. Like, if anything, he's cheaper now than he was then.
I mean, I think at some point, though, you still can command a certain amount, even if... Didn't he win some kind of award or something? Once you win awards, it doesn't matter what you do, you can command that price, or...
Maybe.
But, there's a lot to say about Kingdom Hearts 3. I think the biggest dissenting thing I've heard the most from people is it's too easy and there's not enough secret. There's got to be a final mix coming at some point, which, this is how Square gets you.
I think Nomura said it's all supposed to be like DLC, because
really?
They can do that.
Well, yeah, but it'll be final mix, basically the DLC, and then they'll come out with a final mix a year from now, and that'll be like the Game of the Year edition or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if that secret ending is going to be DLC or if that's just another game entirely, but seems like
the Mickey Emblem crap?
Not the Mickey Emblem. the reason why you're getting the Mickey emblem crap is to watch this like 2-minute secret ending. Um,
And well, I'm doing it because the stuff you get from it is pretty decent.
yeah, that too. But I do like the side stuff. I was gonna mention, like, I like even though the cooking is really simple, I like the little
Yeah,
Remy parts with the cooking
it's
and
fine.
yeah,
I don't think some of the mini games are that fun, but
yeah.
like the
Some of them are
plan
kind of
stuff
annoying.
seems, yeah,
Uh, but yeah, for being a 13-year a game that should have come out in like 2008, I
yeah.
think for the most part, I mean the graphics are impressive.
And then we'd be on Kingdom Hearts 7 at this point.
Yeah, let's be fair. They should be. But we'll see. We'll see what happens from now. Let's see how quickly they pump out DLC. What that includes, if that includes any more story content at all. The way they leave things certainly could lend itself to that.
I'm waiting for the Cupo Noodles Keyblade.
I will say I got to give them credit for making the mobile, the KH 2.8 movie worth playing for all those people that spent all those years playing the different versions of that. They really make it worth it by the end. And definitely they set up the next arc of however many games that's going to be really well. So, yeah.
It'll only take them another decade.
Yeah, probably. I mean, supposedly Nomura's working on Final Fantasy VII Remake and World Ends With You 2 at the same time. So we'll see how long it takes for those two games to come out, let alone another Kingdom Hearts thing.
Yeah, him splitting his time is really going to bode well. Look how well Final Fantasy 15 did.
Well, to the point where they had to take it away from him.
Yeah.
And he's still bitter about it because I don't think that Verdum Rex thing would be in there if he wasn't.
Right.
Which also I'm not going to spoil it for people, but there's that secret ending has something to do with that too. But yeah, we spent almost an hour talking about two games. But
I mean, they were big. They're probably, 11 months from now or 10 months from now, they'll probably be on all the Game of the Year lists.
Oh yeah, for sure. They will be. Especially Resident Evil 2 will probably be one of the games we're still talking about when it comes to the end of the year thing. But yeah, let's move on from that quickly. Gonna just go through Games for Gold and PS Plus for February. Technically, the PS Plus games hit today as we're recording this. Games for Gold already been out for a few days. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon comes to Xbox One, and Assassin's Creed.
It's a decent game.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I have it on Switch. I definitely think you should check it out. So between Celeste and Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, two big indie games from last year that you definitely should go out there and check out. Assassin's Creed Rogue comes from the 360, which you can play on your Xbox One. I swear, I think I'm only missing like one of the. I think I'm only missing Brotherhood at this point, and
the good one
from the old AC games. I swear, I almost have the entire AC collection thanks to Games for Gold. And on the second half of the month, you get Superman Bomberman R, which, to Konami's credit, they've done a better job of doing patches and updates for it from when it launched.
Well, I heard it was like busted when it launched, so they kind of had to.
And Star Wars Jedi Academy is the other 360 game, which is actually pretty decent. On PlayStation Plus, For Honor, which, again, another game that Ubisoft worked their butt off to keep giving updates to, has actually gotten its first new character of 2019 just recently, so you can go play it for free on your PS4. It's been PS Plus before, so if you didn't try it before, you can now. Hitman, the complete first season, you can get it for free.
That's worth it.
Yeah, it's well worth it. I have it on Game Pass already, but I'm going to download it just because stuff does go in and out of Game Pass. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots and Dive Kick, which is a competitive fighting game, are both on PS3. If for some reason you're still downloading games on your PS3.
Well, I think it's like the last month for PS3 and Vita games.
Yeah, they said they were going to stop in March, right?
Yeah. And like,
And
I think both those games, like, they're gonna last a little longer. Like, I think they'll last till like March 8th or something.
yeah, because they always.
But I mean, Metal Gear Solid's a good game.
Yeah, definitely. It's
I really wish there was like a port of that to PS4, like an HD version, or just here, play it.
I'm surprised Konami hasn't gotten on that by now.
I think they would need Kojima's permission because
Really?
he's in the game.
Oh, okay. We'll see how that ever comes to fruition.
Yeah.
Gunhouse, which is a tower defense game, PS4 and Vita, and Rogue Aces, an air combat roguelike, PS4 and Vita as well. So, there you go.
Ooh.
Swan song for the PS3 and Vita.
Yeah.
As far as PS Plus goes. Well, some interesting developments happened today of various quantities. There was a lot of stuff just from today that got announced. Perhaps the biggest as far as like future things go. Microsoft didn't announce. It was sort of a leak from something that was supposed to be announced at GDC because Microsoft is supposed to basically show off what they have been promoting for about a year now, the Microsoft xCloud. And a part of that leak announces that Xbox Live is coming not only to phones, which makes sense because Project xCloud is part of the phone, or it's going to be on phones, it's also coming to Switch, which is really, really interesting on its own. Now, granted, to be fair, the only things they've said is that it's going to allow cross-play and cross-progression, which they already have that for various games, including Wargroove, which is a game I'm playing, which we'll talk about a little later. And it is also going to have achievements, which is great for Nintendo because Nintendo doesn't have achievements, and it might be a way around Nintendo ever getting their own achievements. And you can also have your friends can be on Xbox and see what you're playing on your Switch, and vice versa, I think is how that's supposed to work. Aside from that, though, we don't really know how else this is supposed to function until we get to GDC, but rumors are flying, speculation is flying that this could even be Game Pass showing up on the Switch.
I mean, that won't happen.
You don't think so? It's already on PC. They want to put it on phones.
Nintendo did not let Microsoft Game Pass so they could play Xbox One or 360 games on the Switch.
It's streaming, so it wouldn't really hurt the Switch's.
I mean, the Switch doesn't even have a YouTube app.
Yeah, it does.
They're going to let... No, it doesn't.
The Switch has YouTube. It doesn't have Netflix.
Okay. Close enough. It barely has streaming video capabilities.
Well, that's because they don't want to, though. Nintendo doesn't care about that. Why would
Nintendo care about putting a competitor's streaming service on their console?
I wouldn't consider them necessarily competitors. How many times have they decided to work with crossplay at this point?
They're working with crossplay on games that aren't exclusive to Microsoft, except for Minecraft, which predates Microsoft, so they don't care.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, Sony's decided to stay far away from this, except for Fortnite and Rocket League. They have a logo that's been put out there of survive together, Xbox One and Nintendo. I don't think that necessarily is just crossplay. I think there could be far-reaching things to this eventually. Microsoft could help Nintendo with their bad online system.
I mean, they could, and they should to an extent, but I don't think going to essentially your competitor and say, "Hey, build us our online system," is a great way, especially considering how flaky Xbox Live has been for the past few weeks.
I mean, that's the first time in like how long since Xbox Live has been that really happens outside of a DDoS attack. I mean,
But the fact that you can't use console when Xbox Live is down is a problem.
that's how that system was designed, that's what's so stupid about it. They just basically, uh, hold on, I've played games with when my system's not online. That's weird.
Yeah, but it was some problem, like it was trying to hit a server when you turn it on,
Oh,
and it
okay.
wouldn't get past it, so it was this black screen. You see, I don't even think you could get. I think you could like menu your way through it, but if you didn't have a clue why that was happening, you were kind of screwed.
Yeah, it probably
Because
would
it didn't
just
say
freak you out.
Xbox Live is down; it was just a black screen.
Right. It would make you think your console's breakthrough.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of. We'll have to see what this means. I could definitely see like Project S Cloud be included on Switch and make it be like the Microsoft's handheld thing. I don't know because also this means like the Switch doesn't have Bluetooth, so you can't like Bluetooth the Xbox controller like you can with all the other systems, and
I mean the Switch doesn't even have a microphone built into it.
yeah.
Asking Bluetooth is one hell of a ask.
So like I mean I don't know if the smaller Switch that's being rumored could necessarily do this, or I mean it could be nothing as well, right? We like Steam. Steam integration came to PS to Sony,
and it was a mess.
and nothing happened, right?
Yeah.
But it kind of makes you think they've worked together before. Weird that they would even allow it. Like you can sign in with your Xbox Live account on the Switch right now.
The only game I see this working with is probably Minecraft.
Yeah.
Or
Rocket League.
Oh, I mean, Microsoft owned game.
Yeah.
It's not like, I'm going to go play Gears on my Switch.
Right. I mean, I don't even really count Microsoft as that because, like you said, it predates Microsoft, and they couldn't just pull it off of, Nintendo and Sony systems. They had to keep.
I think they definitely could.
They could, but it would make them significantly less money, and they're not that stupid.
Yeah.
Especially when they're spending how much they're spending on all these studios and everything else. I don't know. With all their spending on studios and knowing that they have exclusives, obviously there's no guarantee that all of them are going to be good. Or half of them.
I don't think most of them are going to be good.
But still, they believe that they are outside of like the Forzas and the Halos and Gears. But like, I don't know. I mean, could with the way that Nintendo is being about, they're making Detective Pikachu movies and Mario movies and like wanting other people to have they are out on the record saying they want to let other people have our IP.
Yeah.
What if Nintendo puts games on Game Pass?
No. Because there's no incentive to buy the Switch.
I'm not saying every game. They could put some games on Game Pass.
And given how Nintendo values their own properties, hell no.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, their online service only includes old games at this point. They're not including new games, and they have the worst sales.
They never will.
So,
especially not for $20 a year.
Yeah, definitely. No, but that's why they're also saying that they want to make a more expensive version of Switch Online. So, take for that. Which I mean, we're already alluding to this, so I might as well get to that point. Not to mention a former Nintendo person that Damon Baker, that was part of the a person that would bring over indies and third parties to Nintendo systems, is now working for Microsoft, and he's doing a similar thing with Microsoft. So interesting how that's going to work. But the thing I was alluding to is Nintendo, aside from announcing that they now sold 32 million Switches, and being the highest or the best selling console of the entire year last year, beating out PS4, which is an impressive accomplishment. They have
It's
8 million.
not that surprising though.
But they had
the PS4 and Xbox One have been out for years.
But think about when Smash came out at the end. Until Pokemon and Smash came out, they had almost nothing.
Yeah, but everyone already owned a PS4. So of course people are going to buy a Switch.
Not necessarily, though.
I mean, the PS4 and Xbox One came out in 2004.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, Sony still sold a lot of freaking PS4s last year.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, there was months where they were still the highest selling console. It's just, I'm just saying, like, aside from what Smash did, which was ridiculous, in December, obviously helped that number. They sold, what, like, almost 5 million. And then Let's Go Pikachu has sold, and Eevee have sold like 10 million, and that came out in the middle of November. So,
yeah.
And people kept saying, oh, that's not going to sell. People aren't going to buy that. Well, you're wrong. But still, I think it's still impressive. My whole point of this is that, we kind of discussed it, but there is a rumor going around that, there was a rumor, first of all, going around that there was going to be a Switch 2.0. Nintendo said there is no Switch 2.0. We are not thinking about the next Switch. We're not thinking about the next Nintendo console right now. However, there is a much bigger rumor which would go along with what Nintendo usually does, which is make different SKUs. A smaller Switch that's portable only, and would obviously lose some of the features that the Switch has right now, including the whole being able to go on your TV and be cheaper than $300, maybe like $150 or $175. Do you see this happening, and do you see it being viable to only be portable?
I mean, maybe, but the Switch has problems in portable mode with some games. So it'd have to be a more powerful system than the Switch currently is in portable mode for that to work. And also, how much smaller can it be?
I mean, it's a pretty big screen.
I mean, it's not portable in the sense that, like, you can put it in your pocket.
I can if I take the Joy-Cons off, you can put it in your pocket. I put it in my pocket with the Joy-Cons on, and it barely hangs out of my pocket. I had it today, so...
Well, the other problem is most games are fitted for that screen.
Also, my kickstand broke because I did that, but it's also a very flimsy kickstand.
Yeah.
But
can you get that fixed, or?
I can pop it back on, but what I'm scared of is that I might have lost it on the way to the car or something, and I'll just have to get another one. But
that's what
the only thing that sucks is it like basically leaves that thing where the SD card is now just flat port open, so that's the only thing that kind of sucks. I never really used the kickstand anyway, but yeah.
I mean, it could happen, but I think there are numerous problems technologically and just performance-wise that make it a mess.
Yeah, I definitely think you're going to run into some issues. This feels like the whole making the 2DS when you already had the 3DS, because kids will.
It seems more like the Canadian Wii.
Well, no, I meant like, okay, the whole deal with this thing is, or making a 3DS that doesn't have 3D. You took out the reason why it was called 3DS, and still called it that. What do they call it?
The bottom?
They'll just still call it the Switch, and it'll just not be able to switch. Or you'll have to like connect it in a different way to the dock or something, other than just popping it in there.
I mean, if there was a dock that was just a cable, it'd be awesome. Because the dock is just kind of stupid.
Also, it'd be nice to have a dock that doesn't scratch the screen.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I keep forgetting to get a screen protector for that thing. But still, I don't know. This is something that it's not out of Nintendo's realm to introduce. If it is cool, I think at some point you do have to make the Switch 2.0. I think they might be waiting until PS5 and Xbox whatever come out, and then they're going to announce it. I don't think they... I think if they show their hand too early, and they're... I mean, either way, they're going to be way behind whatever Xbox and Sony are doing, and those specs that leaked... There are specs that leaked for what Sony and Microsoft are doing, which... is not really next gen when you think about what computers are doing right now, but
yeah,
it's going to be way more than what the Switch is, and maybe they have to like really go to that drawing board, before they want to announce a Switch 2.0.
I mean, I think it's still way too early to announce anything like that because the Switch only came out 2 years ago.
Yep, hey, but it didn't take that long for them to announce a Pro and a Xbox One X, so...
I mean, it took 3 years?
We're sort of close.
And those were also more incremental upgrades than what this thing sounds like.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to... Like, the difference between a PS4 and a PS4 Pro is negligible. Xbox One X is slightly more, but not really.
But they can also make it to where you could downgrade and still play on the regular Switch. I mean, to be fair, most of the games that we'd be taking advantage of that are like, the Nintendo games where they could easily figure out how to make it for one and not the other, and then the third parties that would have to figure out what they want to do there, because a lot of the games that are working on the Switch when they don't have the big Nintendo games are the indies, and those are made for almost anything.
I'm thinking like Zelda on handheld is abominable.
Yeah, that's one game I never played on the... I almost play everything portable now. I hardly ever use the dock.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the Zelda looked weird. Xenoblade had some issues portable.
I was watching the Giant Bomb quick look of Tales of Vesperia, and they played it on the Switch, which is a bad move on their part.
It didn't look good on the Switch?
The battle system looked fine.
Mm.
The overworld looked like a mess. Because one of the guys, I think it was Matt, Rory, he was like, what the fuck is going on with this overworld? Like, it was like choppy and framey.
Yeah, it's kind of the, like, the Diablo 3, the dude is blurry thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one of the things that sucks about the Switch. It's just like, you want it portable, but you're definitely taking the hit.
I mean, they have a heatsink on the Switch, so that should tell you something.
Yep. That's the reason why I didn't get that's what I'm worried about with some of the Final Fantasy games, where I'm like, well, I certainly don't want to double dip if it's going to look really bad. I mean,
Look,
7 and 9, it shouldn't. Those are PS1 games, but like Final Fantasy 12 might look...
That'll be
bad.
fine.
I don't know. Who knows? With Switch sometimes. They're also, again, like, their new owner is certainly into the more giving mood when it comes to Nintendo nowadays, as opposed to what they used to be. So, like, almost anything's up in the air sometimes with Nintendo now, and they are definitely going more into the mobile space, because yes, they delayed Mario Kart Tour, but they also announced Dr. Mario World for mobile, and here's another franchise that it's free to download. And
Dr. Mario is so dormant that who cares?
I mean, I wouldn't have ever thought that Fire Emblem Heroes would make them as much money as it does. Fire Emblem is not like...
But Fire Emblem's popular.
It's not that popular, though. It's still sort of niche when you think about it.
Yeah, but when is the last Dr. Mario game?
Never, but I mean, it's still Mario. So people will buy something that has Mario on it. I mean, Mario Kart 8 is the highest selling Switch game. And it's not Mario Odyssey or Zelda or so. You know, I wonder if Mario Kart Tour comes out on mobile, how much that thing's gonna sell. You know, it's interesting
I mean,
times.
it'll do well, but yeah, the last Dr. Mario game was 1990
Oof.
with the original Dr.
Yeah, Dr.
Mario.
Mario. Well, they had ports, right, on the other
Kinda,
systems.
not really.
Yeah, I just came
Like,
like on Virtual Console, and
oh,
that's yeah.
I mean, I never liked Dr. Mario anyway, so
Well, speaking of old games, the one system that sort of took their time with their old games. I mean, they recently, compared to what Microsoft did with their backwards compatibility, added the download ability for PS Now. Even though I think even before then, PS Now still had way more subscribers than Game Pass. There's a patent filing that may indicate that Sony is getting back into the backwards compatibility game with the actual console, not with a service, where the PlayStation 5 or possibly even the PlayStation 4 could trick the system into playing PS3, PS2, and PS1 games.
that'd be fun.
Do you think
Depends
we
on how they
actually
do
see
it,
this on the PS5 day one, or do you think this is just one of those things like, oh, they made this patent, but they don't necessarily are going to use it?
I see PS5 being at least backward compatible with PS4.
Yeah, I can see that because I think they're just going to make bigger, more powerful computers now. I don't think they're going to do the.
For the other consoles, it'll probably be like what they did before, like download, PS1 classic games. Have to buy them again, but
We've got to stop this at some point. Like, you have to make our purchases go to the next console.
well, I say that because I mean, it would be nice if like your already purchased games would transfer over, but the problem with that is the PS4 didn't have that.
But they could do that from the PS5 to the PS4 at least.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's for sure. Like when you log into your PS5, your PS4 library will be there, most of it at least.
Yeah, you still have to get licenses and everything else, but I hope so.
I think more like games that don't have a developer or publisher anymore. Like that's more the more problematic part.
Right. Same thing Microsoft runs into with backwards compatibility on their end.
Or the same problem that, and it's a really big problem in Nintendo's Virtual Console back in the day. Like people wanted games, but it's like Nintendo doesn't know where to send the money to.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you want this game, not to mention some of that they had to like rework it to work on there and all that. Some of that just didn't go straight on there. Some of it was reworked to be on Virtual Console. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, interesting to see if this actually comes to fruition. There's going to be a lot of rumors when it comes to PS5 and Xbox, whatever they're going to call it.
Xbox 2.
The closer we get to, please don't. The closer we get to
the direct
V3
Xbox
and everything. Oh, Jesus. They could call the streaming Xbox that, I guess. Which that's still a thing, by the way. So until that is disproven, and Microsoft has not said no, be prepared.
I think it'll happen, but it's going to be a bad experience for everyone that doesn't have Google gigabit internet.
Well, I mean, that's why they're coming out with the regular console, right? So, like, if your internet's also fast enough to do it, then...
Yeah, but, soccer moms are idiots. If they see a console that costs $200, it's a streaming one, and, like, the regular console, which costs $500, and little Timmy says, oh, give me the Xbox 2, she's going to pick up the cheap one, take it home,
it's
going to be a shit experience.
This is where parents got to do their research, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and game store owners, if GameStop still exists by then. or Walmart or whatever, you got to do your part as the retailer and say, hey, know what you're buying. But I mean, that's another thing. GameStop decided that they are no longer going to accept the buyout because guess what? People don't want to pay what GameStop thinks they deserve. And so, therefore, they're just going to keep trucking along, I guess, until I don't know what happens to them. But
Yeah, I saw a
yeah.
lot of good memes about, like, oh, GameStop wouldn't accept the $2.77 people offered.
Some of the. Oh, crap. Oh, I'm glad I traded in that Tetris effect when I did because I think it dropped already.
Yeah.
So probably not joking, by the way, but still, yeah, it's sad for the employees and everything if you're still working there. But aside from
I mean,
that,
I think GameStop will always be around to an extent. It may not. I mean, it's already so non-game emphasized
I know.
that,
But the further we get into streaming consoles, that's gonna be really hard for them. Like even
yeah,
Apple is now saying they want to
those.
get into it. Like,
I mean, yeah, but those transition into more of a Think Geek type store and have like a sad corner of, old games or something.
all right, but to be fair, like, okay, am I gonna go to a GameStop to like buy a phone? Am I gonna like yes, okay, I'll go over there to buy like the exclusive Funko Pop or like maybe a shirt or something.
I mean,
But like
they sell phones.
they'll take your phone. They'll
Oh,
take your phone
I
as
thought
a
they were
trade in. I
selling
don't
them.
know if they sell them anymore, but they'll still take your phone as a trade in. Or they used to at one point. I don't know if
Yeah,
they do it
I know
anymore.
that. That's
Um,
why I thought they sold them too.
but like I don't know how much more they can really get. I mean, to like start selling more different figures, that's going to cost them a lot of money. Like if they started selling like the Nendroids or whatever, I imagine like those things
I
already
don't
sell for
even
like
care.
$50.
Yeah,
That would probably cost them a ton of money to get them shipped from Japan. So like I don't know what else they could really do.
they
Uh,
just need to sell more Power Ranger crap.
yeah, that's exactly
That's what I want.
what they need. Uh, you know, talking about people in trouble, maybe not financially, but certainly with just a bunch of, let's just call it a saga involving Metro Exodus.
Oh, I thought
And
we were going to talk
they're,
about Randy Pitchford again.
oh no, let's not talk about Randy Pitchford again. Metro Exodus is maybe fortunately because it's gotten them in the news where they wouldn't be with all these other games coming out around it, especially Anthem. It has its own bad press at the moment. But still, it's crazy to think that one game, Division Two decided to go over to the Epic Games Store. Some people made a fuss, but it didn't seem like it was that big a deal,
That's
right?
because the Division 2 wasn't on Steam.
Right.
Like,
But
so
Metro Exodus was on Steam,
also no one cared about the Division 2.
and they decided to pull it from Steam to put it on the Epic Games Store like 3 weeks before it's supposed to launch. If you pre-ordered it on Steam, you still got it on Steam, but now you have to wait a year if you didn't get it on Steam before they pulled it off to play it. And a lot of people are just saying, look, we're going to wait a year because Epic Games Store isn't great right now. And it may not be by that point either. And it's kind of hard for me to disagree with them on that because I don't know that, even though, yes, it's just installing a launcher as opposed to buying a whole different system, it's still a significant thing that you're having to put time into, and like,
Well, I think I told you, we talked about this last time, but I have 4 or 5 launchers on my computer as it is.
mm,
I'm sick of that shit.
I can understand that.
Like, I have Steam, Origin, Blizzard, like the Battle.net launcher, uh, Ubisoft, and I think I might have one other one. I'm not quite sure.
And to be fair, Division 2, buying it on the game store, Epic Game Store doesn't really do anything. You're still using Uplay. So,
Yeah, it's the same thing they do with Steam stuff now. So what the hell
yeah.
difference does that
You
make?
just get to launch it on the Steam store and say, oh, it's on my Steam library.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think what Epic is doing, like pulling AAA games from Steam and deciding to go. I mean, I don't think it's unfair. Like what Steam says, I think that's just them being petty. But I think it's like setting a weird standard that you don't necessarily. We don't need PC. We don't need the
Well,
PC war. Like,
the eventual downside is when they say no Unreal Engine games can be on Steam.
yeah, and that's a lot of games at some point.
That'll be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention what, like, it's basically they get all the money, right? If you develop with an Unreal, the developer gets all the money. If I'm correct on that,
the split is if you're on Epic Game Store, it's 88.
It's 88-12, but I think there was a rule that they made that if you use Unreal Engine, you get all of that. Epic doesn't take any of the cut.
Right.
So that even incentivizes them more to not only use that engine, but be on the Epic Games Store. So, again, like they're giving indies a great thing. And I think, for these third-party publishers, they might see that split and go, oh man, that's a good deal, whatever. And they're also paying extra money to get them over there. But
here's the economic problem. Let's use Metro as an example. Right. So they're going to get 88% of the cut, which sounds great. However, if only a fraction of the people on Epic Store buy it compared to the much larger percentage on Steam, you're still losing money.
Yep, that's true. And
like for every one copy you sell on Epic, you could easily sell 2 on Steam, and you'd make more money.
And considering that the main player base right now of Epic Store is for Fortnite, and Fortnite is younger audience.
And free to play. Like, they're not going to spend money on...
they spend money on Fortnite. I mean, they didn't make $2.4 billion.
I mean, like other PC games.
Well, not just that, but they're maybe too young to play those games. Where they don't care about those games right now. That's not an interest to them. Like,
I think there's some alarming percentage of Epic Store users
have
didn't know Steam was,
used anything but Fortnite on the launcher.
Well, they didn't know what Steam or Valve was.
Yeah, because they're too young to know what it is, or they don't care because they don't play PC games outside of Fortnite. So it's like, and I get what Epic's trying to do. They're trying to get them to get used to there being an Epic Game Store and then go, oh, Epic Game Store is where I buy all my PC games. Okay, great. The problem is, and let's be fair, Steam sucked at the beginning too. It wasn't what it is today.
At the time, it was the only thing around. Like, the problem of Epic is this thing launched last year. They should have known better.
Yeah, there's Steam, there's GOG, there's Humble Bundle, there's other things out there already.
Like, Steam launched in 2004, I think.
Yeah,
like there was nothing.
15 years old. Yeah. So, and not only that, it's like some of the things that Epic Game Store is doing is sort of weird. Like, number one, they have security problems. Right?
I get constant emails saying my account's been hacked. Or, crap like that, like trying to two-factor authenticate my stupid account. I wish I never got one of those.
Yeah, like I've only had that problem with Steam, I think, one time. And I don't really even use the thing that much, but I never had a problem with being able to log in, and I know all my stuff's there, and I don't worry about people getting into it. And, like, not only that, but this thing with the influencers... like getting a cut and like the developer can figure out how much money they want to give to that influencer,
Well, I thought
and
one creepy thing was they don't the Epic One store, they won't have user reviews if the publisher doesn't want them to. Like they have to
yeah, which
okay,
is
the reviews,
that's
which
really
is
bad.
yeah,
I mean, you already get enough crap from people trying to do DMCA takedowns on YouTube when you get negative. Like Epic Store is basically now to be fair, the reason why this is also a thing is because as soon as Metro got taken off Steam, they went and review bombed the other two games, which is bad.
yeah.
No, but you shouldn't do that though. Like that's not okay.
I mean, no, but I mean, I think I told you I reviewed Metro Last Light. I couldn't finish it because I had a game-breaking bug, and I got a comment last year from some dude saying, "Oh, I just hit the same bug," and that was 5 years after that game came out. Like, fuck that game.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. What I'm saying though is they review bombed it because of the decision by Deep Silver, not because they thought it was a
Yeah,
bad game or
but
whatever.
it's the only way that those consumers have a way to fight back. Aside from, I mean, they're not going to buy it,
Right.
but Deep Silver doesn't seem to care.
No,
They got their Epic money, so
and that's fair. And I just think that happens quite a bit with certain games, and it's like that may be why Epic is hesitant to just go, look, there's user reviews whether you like it or not. But they're also being a little bit too kind sometimes. Like you've also got to be able to be critical about your game.
Epic, Steam also has like a recently
return policy
and overall reviews. So the overall is still mostly positive.
Right.
So and they also track reviews, I think, for the past
from critics.
2 years or 3 years. Yeah. So you can aggregate the review, which is fine. I mean, all I know about this Metro Exodus stuff is I don't get to review that game in 2 weeks on Steam, so I don't care.
And that's fine. Like, I can understand that. I can understand that from the people with Steam. It also doesn't help when you have a THQ Nordic basically just put blame on Deep Silver and then had to backtrack and go, oh, we totally endorse what Deep Silver decided to do and whatever, which that looked bad. Then a person inside 4A Games decided to blab off, and I get it that they worked on the game, so they have a vested interest, and sometimes developers get absolutely shit on, and sometimes it's out of their control, very much like Mike Gamble did with Anthem, and some of that's warranted and some of it's not. Also, naming your thing a demo when it should have been called a beta probably would have helped a lot, but
or
it is what it is.
alpha.
Or that, I'm just saying, like, naming something matters today. I mean, if you don't do what Nintendo did with Metroid Prime 4, where they come out and go, look, Metroid Prime 4 sucked, we gave it back to Retro, which, to be fair, the same people that worked on the first 3 games, most of them are not there, but it's still that same developer, and we're redoing it all. If you're not going to do that, then get ready, because people are going to... And to be fair, like, Mike Gamble's been very upfront about the problems. But still, my point of this is sometimes transparency or speaking out can be negative. And this didn't work out well for this guy that decided to talk. He went on a forum to say that, listen, all you people that don't want to take 2 minutes to install a launcher are going to miss out on this great game. And if you boycott Metro on PC because it's not on Steam, well, it may not come back to PC at all. And then Deep Silver had to come out and be like, hello, just to let you know, they have nothing to do with whether or not this game shows up on PC. It will keep being on PC regardless of what happens here. This guy's just hurt. Please don't be upset by that or whatever. It's like...
Yeah, but that guy's comments were dumb.
Well, that's
And
what I'm saying though.
I
Like
mean,
they've had to play damage control for this entire thing.
I mean, if I really gave a shit about Metro, and I liked the second one from what I could play of it, uh, like I would pirate the game on Steam or pirate the game on PC.
That's not good.
I mean, they would have pushed me in that position. I don't want to use the Epic Game Launcher. Like them, you know, getting the free game on it is one thing. Like the only reason I installed the stupid thing was to get Shadow Complex from it. That was it.
No.
And if Epic continues to go to lock down games, that's fine. I won't play them. Or hell, I got a good internet connection. I know where PC pirate releases come from. It's not that hard.
I will say, I'm not saying that we endorse piracy on this podcast. Mark is fully on his own there.
I don't really. Like, I've pirated in the past, no doubt. The last time I actually pirated a game was at least a few years ago.
Well, I mean, I've downloaded ROMs and stuff, so I'm not going to say I...
No, yeah, but I mean, like, properly pirated a PC game.
Yeah.
And I think I only pirated it to make sure it would run on my computer. And when it did, I think I just bought it on Steam.
Right.
So, there you go. I mean, Steam is really the big reason why PC piracy is not really that much of a thing anymore. Like, it still exists, and to a certain segment, it'll always exist, because there's always people with no money.
Mm.
But, like, that's the big reason why, PC game piracy is down, is because it's just much easier and safer to, click pay $60 for, Resident Evil 2 on Steam than downloading it from some shady Ware site.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because you get something into your computer, you may never get it out, and then even if you restart it, it may still be there, and yeah.
Also, if they do release Metro Exodus on Steam at some point, it'll probably be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it'll be a year from then, so it'll probably at least be half off.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Before we get into I mentioned this earlier. I just want to. I feel like we talked about this when we discussed all this, but like, Apple now wants to make a gaming subscription service, according to Cheddar. And that they may even go into their own game development as well, or be a publisher.
No.
I mean, like, this is now if you include Microsoft, 5 huge companies that want to get into. I mean, to be fair, Microsoft's already in the space. But like the other 4 that want to get into it, Amazon, Google, Verizon, and now Apple, like, do you worry that this is like gonna become like the streaming video thing where we're getting way too many hands on the pot and it's gonna wind up blowing up instead of actually flourishing? Or
no, because except for Microsoft, no one has done shit. Like, Google had their beta test for Assassin's Creed, but that was about it.
Yeah,
Amazon hasn't done anything with
Amazon
games.
supposedly has a service running that shows a bunch of games, but if you're not in the private beta thing, you can't see them running anything.
Yeah. I imagine Verizon will be terrible. It'll probably be like, oh, stream it to your TV or something. And it'll be like, no, thank you.
Well, not to mention Amazon failed very hard at trying to make games. So
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, listen, like, Apple has a lot of things that people
they don't care about games. That was one of Steve Jobs' original edicts, was like, he didn't get games. And like, I think games were like an afterthought on the iPhone.
Well, not now. People develop some pretty damn good iPhone games.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
but that was like in spite of him, not because he was trying to like forward it along or anything.
Yeah, and I mean, people would rather have things on the iPhone store because you can't pirate as much as you can on the Android store.
You can still pirate, trust me.
Yeah, you can, but I'm saying it's much easier on Android.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know, but I mean, to be fair, Apple has gotten their hands on the things that you go, man, they're not going to be able to do much with this. Like Apple Music came out after Spotify and all these other places are out there, and they got a big chunk of the market. They started doing their own original shows. I don't really hear much about them doing anything, but it's there. Apple TV's done okay. I mean, so it's possible, especially with them saying the new iPad Pro apparently is as powerful as an Xbox One S. But yeah, I don't know. I worry about way too many of these giants getting involved. Either they're gonna peter out, or it's gonna become some kind of control issue, and it's crazy.
No, they're just gonna peter out. Or, I mean, remember like the Nokia N-Gage?
Oh, jeez.
Or like the Sony cell phone that could play PS1
the Xperia
games.
thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be like stupid shit like that no one buys, and they forget about it in like a year.
Oh yeah, unless they make it work on. Now, if they make it work on your Apple TV or your Roku or your whatever, then Fire Stick, then...
Or they'll say, like, oh, our vision was too forward-thinking for the people, that's why it didn't take off.
Yeah. Like, I still think the Microsoft's doing the right thing so far. Google might be fine. And then whatever Sony ends up doing, I'm sure they're developing that technology. With their streaming thing that they have. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't trust all these big giants getting into gaming right now. Speaking of things that are going to make people angry, and already has, but it's got me excited, because I don't necessarily care too much about it. It's obviously a lot easier, but Persona Q2, New Cinnamon Labyrinth, finally got a release date for America and Europe. June 4th, 2019 is when it's coming. So like, a week or two before E3, you can go play this game. Of course, it's going to have all the characters from Persona 3, 4, and 5, and the female protagonist from Persona 3 Portable. But it stars mainly the Persona 5 characters, and they're all been trapped in movie-themed dungeons, and you have to figure out how to get out of them. It's going to be the same thing where you have to draw the map and all that stuff on the bottom screen and all that stuff. There's new bonus stuff for the battle system and whatnot. And there's a really cool special edition for $70, which includes a 5-inch Koromaru plush, which he's really cute. An art book, 4 buttons, and playing cards. The problem is... Go ahead.
I'm going.
Well, the problem is that I wonder if this decision by them to not include English dub might backfire on them in some aspect, because there's a lot of people that seem to be very angry about this.
I mean, it might, but when's the game due out?
June 4th.
That's not a ton of time.
Well, also, I think it's the 3DS is old.
Yeah.
And, like, do they...
and some of those voice actors have definitely gotten bigger since Persona 5.
Not only that, I think, to be fair, they did, like, give English voice casting to Radiant Historia, but I imagine that, Radiant Historia, they did that because they felt like it wouldn't sell without the English sub, whereas Persona has such a big audience that maybe they feel like they don't need it. And then 3DS being old, and I don't know what else.
I sent that like special edition picture to a friend of mine, thinking he'd be interested, and his response was, "I don't want to get it. It doesn't have a soundtrack."
Like, well, you can... I'm sure the soundtrack will come at some point.
Yeah, but he wants the soundtrack CD, so...
I mean, to be fair, I think the Kingdom Hearts 3 soundtrack hasn't come out yet. Or is about to come out, or whatever. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the soundtrack has to come with the game at launch. But I get it. Soundtracks are great for the stuff that's out there on YouTube is already great. So
Yeah.
Are you? I know you don't have a 3DS, but if you did,
I'd probably get this. That little plushie looks cute.
yeah, I keep wondering if I want to pay that extra.
30.
What is it? $30 for my daughter to have it because I don't want. I don't want to start plushies. Yeah, do what?
I'd like the playing cards too.
Yeah, the playing cards kind of cool. I don't know what I would do with the buttons, but
it didn't come with it. I don't know how it got printed or what happened, but I have like a deck of Final Fantasy VIII, like playing cards.
They made those at some point for something. I can't remember what.
And they're not part. It's not like Triple Triad. They're just a deck of Final Fantasy VIII cards, and like one suit head just has like a bunch of Japanese text from like screenshots of the game.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But moving on. Well, damn it. My thing decided it wanted to freak out here. Moving on from talking about this, even though, again, I feel bad the people that really want the dub. I get it that some people don't want to read text while they play a game, and I totally understand that. And it also, there's people that have a connection to those dub voices for those characters. Like, that's how they got introduced to Persona and all that, and I think that's fair, you know, but sometimes, I mean, Bandai has had a very bad, you know, history of they don't dub a lot of their games.
Yeah.
Aside from Dragon Ball, which that has its own reasons of why, because obviously Dragon Ball was a huge enough thing for them that they can afford to do it. They know it makes a difference. Other games are not so they go, well, why? Why do it? That being said, Dragon Ball has already started their Season 2 of Dragon Ball Fighters Pass with Jiren and Videl. Two pretty cool, awesome characters from the series. Cool to see them be in the game. And you're also eventually going to get Dragon Ball Super Broly and the Gogeta for Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Yeah. So there's 2 unannounced characters so far, or like what's left. Who would you want to see?
I feel like Bardock would be cool.
He's already in it.
Oh, he's already okay. Who's not in it?
Jirobe.
Naijirobe would be interesting. King Kai, maybe.
I mean, for me, I think the 2 obvious ones, or the 2 I would want to see, are Mr. Satan.
Yeah, I think you need him in there.
And then, what's his name? Damn it, who's the old guy?
Masaroshi?
Yeah, him.
Yeah. He needs to be in there after giving him the superpowers from Super and all that. Like, yeah.
Or you just, like another Dragon Ball Super character, like, have, like, Whis be in it or something.
Yeah, Whis would be awesome, because he's so powerful anyway.
Or the really funny Sailor Moon character.
Nah. Yeah. The, like, weird one from, like, Dragon Ball?
Well, no, the Dragon Ball Super one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
She was hilarious.
An interesting thing about Dragon Ball, though, is that out of nowhere, Bandai Namco announced a Dragon Ball Z action RPG called Project Z. At some point, it will have a different name, I'm assuming. This is basically telling you the story of Goku throughout the Dragon Ball Z games, so he's gonna fight all his old enemies. You know, Vegeta, Piccolo, Frieza, and I'm assuming Cell. And
yeah, it looks like a retelling of Dragon Ball Z, which is how every RPG Dragon Ball has done, is what they do.
Yeah, CyberConnect 2 is making it, who's made the Naruto Shippuden games, but some of those were good. Uh, the Dot Hack games also have these, some of those were good. Uh, Moniker, it is going to have English dub, by the way. I mean, at this point,
Yeah, of course.
At this point, those characters are so iconic with their voices that you kind of have to. But man, I don't know. For one, why do you?
It's gonna be hard to do.
Like, I don't know why they showed a trailer with no gameplay.
Yeah, it's just Goku walking.
Goku walking past a bunch of like Capsule Corp and
it's like, can't Goku fly? Why is he doing this walking shit?
And the walking looks so weird too. It's like, whatever. I'll wait. CyberConnect 2 also has a history of not so great games too. So
yeah, they're pretty iffy.
Yeah, weren't they the ones that were given Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
Remake at first, and they pulled it from them.
So maybe they're just going to repurpose what they did for this, so it'll be Cloud versus Shinra, or Goku versus Shinra.
Oh, that would be amazing. You know,
what I would want is like, because it's an action RPG, what they call an action RPG. So I want Diablo with Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's do that.
Awesome.
You know, like the Mortal Kombat, like Shaolin Monks thing. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
You know, why have they never made... Now, I know they have the Project Stars or whatever. Like, why has nobody ever thought of making, like, a Bandai versus Capcom? With, like, Goku against, like, Ryu or something.
Because at the time, no one cared about Bandai characters.
I mean, that would be amazing if somebody ever did that.
They also did that Tatsunoko vs. Capcom game.
Yeah, but that didn't have, like,
didn't sell
the bigger characters, though.
And also because, like, I mean, around that era, not Ubisoft, someone had the Dragon Ball license. So they're making those terrible, like, Raging Burst games and, you know, crap like that no one liked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Or Legacy of Goku. Whatever.
Or, yeah, they did like a Dragon Ball fighting game, which is terrible.
Thank God we have a good one now.
Yeah, 1 out of 20 isn't a good batting average, though.
Oh, to be fair, like, the Xenoverse games were not bad.
No, they were. Because you had to do crap like BSB Krillin fighting against like 30 Frieza henchmen. I mean, you basically couldn't win.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Like the problem is, and this is going to be a problem at Jump Force too. It's all 3D fighting games, and Dragon Ball is not a good fit for that.
I'm waiting on Jump Force.
I've heard previews that it's not good, and I was like, yeah, not surprising.
They don't do 3D brawlers well. I mean, My Hero was not good either.
Those Naruto games aren't good either. Like, most of them are bad.
Yeah. But, I mean, they keep making them, so... I don't blame them for doing this. Like, this is a cool concept, right? Like, bring all the damn Shonen Jump characters together, and, you know, it's awesome to, like, try to do your own Smash or whatnot, but...
Yeah, but Smash is 2D also, so that helps.
As Sony proved, not all of them work.
Yeah.
Before we get into the small bit of... Well, I should mention that there's amazingly already a Detective Pikachu 2 in development, and the first one hasn't come out yet, but, I mean, come on.
It's going to be a big hit.
That thing's going to be huge. So... before we get into the small amount of entertainment stuff to talk about for this week, let's talk about some of the other games that are not Kingdom Hearts 3 and Resident Evil 2. I'm playing Wargroove, which I've only played about, I want to say, like 4 missions so far. it had to do a stupid update while I was at the um, Tower Kingdom today, so I didn't get to play it until like 2 hours before we were going to do this. So it's basically like a Chucklefish developed. We know that you haven't played an Advance Wars game in like forever, so here's an Advance Wars game. Advance Wars game. And this one has a really cool like level editor, and if you go look online, there's Advance Wars levels in the game already. It's also cross platform with Switch, Xbox One, and PC. So there's that too if you want to play multiplayer.
It reminds me a lot of, not obviously not gameplay, but it reminds me of Stardew Valley.
Like well, yeah, Chucklefish had a hand in that too. I mean, yes, it was developed by the one guy, but
no, I just mean like Nintendo essentially abandoned a genre, so someone else had to step in and fill the void.
And what's amazing is that there have been Tiny Metal was for people that made Advance Wars, and that wasn't very good. And then here comes this strategy game that is obviously aping Advance Wars. Even the freaking opening cutscene is like blatant, but it does it in such a good way with the special sort of similar art style. It also looks like Fire Emblem as well, which that's not hard to do when you doing a strategy game like that. But it's just really cool. Like it has dogs, and the dogs don't. You can't kill them. Thankfully, they just run away. But it's just really neat, and the story is funny at times, and it's also like I'm just glad that they added. I mean, it's not stuff I'm going to use, but I think it's cool for people that do like it. The level editor and the map editor and all that stuff. I'm excited to keep going through the campaign. There's also like difficulty sliders too if you're not like a big strategy game aficionado, but you want to learn. It does a pretty good job in the tutorial to teach you what to do, and then you can lower the difficulty if you want to. So it's only $20.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth it if you want to try it out.
Yeah, good price for something like that.
Anything? I also have Dragon Mark for Death, but I've not played it. So I'll talk about that next week.
The two things I've played, Ace Combat 7, I reviewed it.
Right.
It's more Ace Combat. I never played one of those seriously. It's fine. Multiplayer is kind of unbalanced, but that's kind of funny.
That's what I've heard. That just play single player because the multiplayer is not.
No. I mean, like, the store is an in-game plane store, and you're supposed to like accrue money to buy planes and upgrades and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if you play multiplayer, you get like so much more money that it becomes really trivial.
Well, I mean they want that game to last, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's, a combat shooter. Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
It looks nice.
The story's crazy, pretty. Right?
Yeah. This make a ton of sense. Because it's like a weird alternate reality, but they still have, like, realistic plane names. So it's like, what?
Like Eurasia or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Oceania and Eurasia, and it's like, what?
Eurasia was actually sort of a thing.
It's like, why is it in F-22 in this game then?
Because they can.
Yeah. And the only other thing I've been playing is Gears of War 4.
I like that game.
Yeah, I'm playing with a friend. I'm playing on PC. He's playing on Xbox. So that's kind of nice.
Does that work pretty well?
Kind of. So the PC version runs great. I'm getting like 90, 100 frames a second. But the networking is less than great. Like the cutscenes are a little out of sync, or like laggy in spots. And then we had a few times where like the game just straight up crashed on my computer. So that's fun.
Good.
Like it didn't even like air report. Like we were in one of the missions and it just like straight up dumped me to the start menu or like the main, my desktop, and I was like talking to my friend. And I'm like, hold on a second, let me load the game back up.
Did you play a lot of the other Gears?
I played Gears 1 and 3. I played a little 2, but didn't like it, so I didn't play it.
What do you think of like the new cast?
I mean, the main guy's kind of boring.
Yeah, JD or...
Yeah.
I like Kate, or the
yeah, she seems
girl.
fine.
Yeah.
I'm finding myself to be like, and more so in this one than the other ones, I'm like sniping a lot more. And like, this is the first time I played Gears when I'm playing with a friend, so that might be why.
Yeah, I was still using a lot of the main guns where you just cover and shoot, but they do make it easier to do that in this one.
Also, like the AI helper is like ridiculously overpowered. It's really funny.
Oh God, yeah. I was like, I turn around and I'm like, well, okay, half the people are dead. Okay.
We're playing on hardcore,
Oh.
so we had a spot like I would die. The helper would run to help me, like revive me. My friend would die. The helper would run to revive him. It's happened like 3 or 4 times.
Hey, it's better than like dying and having to redo the level a million times. So.
Yeah, but it looks nice and it seems fine. It seems kind of short.
Yeah, it is. But most of the Gears games are short though.
Really?
Yeah, some of them are like 5 hours.
I remember Gears of War 1 being, I mean, not super long, but it told a decent enough story.
Yeah.
I think the problem also with like later Gears games is there's no bad guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Agreed.
I still remember General Rom from the first game.
It's all about like the locusts.
Yeah, but there's no central figure.
Nah, it's just...
And even when they had that like locust queen chick, she was barely in the game.
Yeah, Queen Mira or yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. I mean, we'll continue playing it because I have to finish it soon because it's taking up 130 gigabytes of my PC.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get on with it.
I mean, it's pretty bad when I have like 25 gigabytes of hard drive space left.
Jeez. Why? You can't
Just
delete
Gears,
other games?
I don't have that many other games installed though.
Oh, okay.
It's mostly just like video files and stuff, but still, that's not great.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe like either finish that or like start thinking about a hard drive, external hard drive or something.
If I could get a bigger hard drive, I would.
Not a lot entertainment wise. At least it's award season is on, so a lot of that is going towards that. Which particularly I don't care about necessarily. I don't know about you. I know Black Panther is doing well, which that's good. The Stand is getting a TV series on CBS All Access, which I'm happy about.
That should be okay. Depending on cast and how hardcore it gets.
Yeah, Stephen King's pretty happy about it, so I guess that's a good sign. He really likes the scripts and the cast and the people involved, so he's giving it.
I actually had the original one on DVD.
I never seen the original. I need to watch it.
It's relatively faithful to the book, but it's just very bloodless and not scary,
So like, it's kind of blah, or?
Well, I mean, it was made on ABC,
so yeah. But they also had Twin Peaks on ABC, so that didn't have really blood in it, just weird stuff.
Wasn't that NBC?
No, they had Twin Peaks on ABC.
Okay.
The Twilight Zone is also the reboot is getting a premiere date pretty soon, or not? Well, sort of soon, April 1st on CBS All Access. Uh, if you have CBS All Access, you can watch the original show from 1959. All of it on there. The 90s had a reboot too, right? I swear.
It came back in the 80s with
Okay, 80s.
with Rod Serling, and then it came back in 2003 with
Okay,
Forrest
that's
Whitaker.
the one I remember. It was like on UPN or something.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. That wasn't
That was
good.
bad.
Yeah,
It was
bad.
funny, but it was bad.
I'm hoping this one's better. With so many shows out there to show them how to do it right, like Black Mirror. I think it's kind of hard to get this wrong, but they still could. Obviously the best thing is that Jordan Peele is going to be hosting and narrating. So
My hope is that they just don't recycle a bunch of old Twilight Zone plots, and they're already recycling like one or two, and it's like, no, please make new ones.
yeah, let's hope they can.
We don't need to see the gremlin with the airplane engine or the kid with the cornfield or whatever. It's like, no, just make new ones, please.
Yeah, you don't need that for sure. Well, getting into games for this week here. Not a whole lot to choose from, but she got huge hits coming next week, all on the freaking same day. So, or well, 2 weeks from now. But so you got the Book of Unwritten Tales 2 coming to Switch. Away Journey to the Unexpected is coming to all the consoles. Etrian Odyssey Nexus, which is the latest Etrian Odyssey game, is coming to 3DS. It's also the last 3DS Etrian Odyssey game. It's going to Switch after that. The Observer is coming to Switch. Riot Civil Unrest is on Xbox One and Switch. Reverie is coming to Switch. Blaze Blue Central Fiction is coming to Switch. And God Eater 3 is probably the biggest game. It's coming to PS4 and PC. So look out for that. Also, Yokai Watch 3, if for some reason you still care about Yokai Watch, is coming to 3DS. So,
Great.
there you go. I liked the first Yokai Watch game. The story was kind of whatever, but the gameplay was interesting. I don't know how 2 went. It had the 2 different SKUs. Looks like they went back to 1 for 3. That's cool. I'm really looking forward to God Eater 3. May end up reviewing it. Don't know. It's more of an anime Monster Hunter. So there's that. It's all a little bit easier than Monster Hunter 2, but yeah. But if you like Monster Hunter, that might be something you want to look out for if you have a PS4 or PC. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to do it for us this week. Hopefully you enjoyed it, whichever way you watched it, whether it's on video or the audio. If you like what you heard, you can always hit subscribe. Video Games to the Max. We try to come to you every week here, and we'll have more reviews on the site, so make sure you check out w2net.com. Mark's Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition and Ace Combat 7 will be up really soon, and also I'm working on a Kingdom Hearts 3 review, and yeah, we'll have Resident Evil 2 up there as well at some point, and more to come. So thank you to 401 Mania and Last Word on Life for associating with us and having us on their sites, and we'll see you guys later.
Later.